Ilion, New York, a small village in the Mohawk Valley, built American rifles for more than 200 years. Then a private equity firm from Wall Street spent 13 years extracting every dollar it could. And on March 4, 2024, the last shift clocked out. The lights went dark and 270 workers drove home for the last time. This is what happened to the town they left behind. In 1816, a blacksmith's son named Eliphalet Remington forged his first rifle barrel in a family workshop in upstate New York. He didn't set out to build an empire. He entered a local shooting competition and came in second, but his barrel was so clearly superior that before the day was over, strangers were offering him money to build more. Within a decade, he had a factory. Within two, the U.S. Army had taken notice. When the Civil War broke out, Remington's factory in Ilion was producing rifles and revolvers for the Union Army at a scale that rivaled Colt. 250,000 weapons left that building between 1861 and 1865. The factory expanded to meet the demand. The town expanded with it. Because that's the thing about Ilion. It didn't grow up near Remington. It grew up around it. The building that emerged over 2 centuries eventually covered 1 million square feet, 42 separate structures, many of them built during World War I when Remington was producing millions of rifles for Allied forces on the Western Front. The Erie Canal ran along one side of the complex. The town's main artery ran along the other. Cartography couldn't separate the factory from the place, because history never did either. Workers in Ilion had a phrase. They called it bleeding green. It wasn't an expression. It was an identity. The job at Remington wasn't something you found. It was something you inherited. Your father worked there. His father worked there. When you were old enough, you walked through those gates and took your place on the line. Jim Conover started in 1964, packing guns. He retired 40 years later as a production manager. His father worked there. His sons worked there. That kind of continuity wasn't the exception in Ilion. It was the rule. At peak employment, more than 1,500 people worked those shifts. Every weekday at 3:30 in the afternoon, when the second shift ended, the roads seized up. Police had to direct traffic. The entire rhythm of Ilion, when businesses opened, when restaurants got busy, when the bars filled, was set by those shift changes. The streets around the plant were named for the company: Remington Avenue, Armory Street. Franco's Pizza built its business on deliveries to the plant. The Model 870 pump-action shotgun and the Model 700 bolt-action rifle became American standards, used by hunters, law enforcement, and military snipers for decades. These weren't commodities, they were instruments built by craftsmen who understood that precision in a firearm is the difference between performance and failure. By the mid-2000s, Remington was still profitable. Not spectacularly, but genuinely. The brand carried weight. The factory had 200 years of history behind every square foot of it. That made it attractive to a certain kind of buyer. In June 2007, Cerberus Capital Management acquired Remington Arms for $370 million, including $252 million in assumed debt. Cerberus is a private equity firm headquartered in New York City. Its name taken from the three-headed dog that guards the gates of hell in Greek mythology. They had already bought Bushmaster Firearms. Now they added Remington, placed both under a holding company called Freedom Group, and kept acquiring Marlin, DPMS, and several others. The idea was consolidation. Roll up the American firearms market, bring it under one roof, achieve economies of scale, and eventually sell the whole package at a premium. To understand what actually happened, you need to understand what a leveraged buyout is. When a private equity firm does an LBO, they do not use their own capital to buy the company. They use the company's own credit. The firm takes out a loan, buys the company, then immediately makes the company borrow money to pay back that loan. The company ends up holding the debt from its own acquisition. The private equity firm walks away, having financed the entire purchase on the company's balance sheet. Cerberus took that structure and kept going. In 2013, Freedom Group issued additional debt, not to modernize the Ilion factory, not to invest in new product development, but to pay out equity investors who wanted to cash out early. It is called a dividend recapitalization. The money that should have been operating capital was extracted before it arrived. Then Sandy Hook happened. In December 2012, a shooter used a Bushmaster AR-15, one of Freedom Group's brands, to kill 20 children and 6 teachers at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut. The moral and political fallout was catastrophic. Cerberus announced it would sell the company. Its own investors, pension funds, and university endowments demanded an exit. No buyer came. The liability exposure was too great. Cerberus was trapped in an investment they could not exit, in a company they had loaded with debt, while the workers in Ilion kept showing up and doing the work they had always done. By 2018, Remington was carrying nearly $1 billion in debt. Not from product failures, not from market collapse, from the mechanics of how the company had been purchased and managed. In March 2018, Remington filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They restructured, cut more than $600 million in debt, handed control to creditors. Management called it a fresh start. It wasn't. When the pandemic hit in 2020, during a period when gun sales were actually surging, Remington filed for bankruptcy again. This time, there was no restructuring plan. The company was broken apart and sold at auction. 545 workers at the Ilion plant were laid off, without severance benefits, in the middle of a global pandemic. The historic Ilion factory, 1 million square feet of American manufacturing history, went to a private investment group called the Round Hill Group. Their winning bid was $13 million. $13 million for the factory that armed the Union Army, for the complex that produced millions of rifles for Allied forces in World War I. $13 million. Round Hill renamed the operation RemArms and brought 230 workers back in the spring of 2021. Not the 1,500 it had been, but something. The community held on. RemArms even assured the people of Ilion, as recently as 2022, that the factory would not only stay open, but would add staff. And then came the letter. In November 2023, RemArms sent a notice to union officials. It read, operations at the Ilion facility would conclude on or about March 4, 2024. The remaining 270 workers had roughly 3 months to prepare. Management cited the prohibitive cost of maintaining century-old buildings and New York's legislative environment. Operations were moving to LaGrange, Georgia, where the company had been quietly building a new facility. The UMWA International President called it a slap in the face to every worker and every community member who had fought to keep the plant alive through bankruptcy after bankruptcy. March 4, 2024. The last shift ended. The parking lot cleared out and stayed empty. The mayor estimates the closure will cost the village roughly $1 million annually in lost utility payments and taxes, a significant number for a community of 7,600 people. The businesses that oriented themselves around the plant are adjusting. The parking lot, once jammed at shift change, has begun to show signs of overgrowth and neglect. Mayor John Stevens has said the same thing through every bankruptcy, every ownership change, every round of layoffs. Ilion is Remington. Remington is Ilion. You can't erase history. He's right about the history. The rifles stamped Ilion, New York, and there are millions of them. in gun safes and hunting cabins and evidence lockers across the United States will outlast the men and women who last touched them on that line. But history doesn't fill municipal budgets. It doesn't replace the traffic jam on Remington Avenue at 3:30 in the afternoon. It doesn't send a kid to school or keep a restaurant running or give a fourth-generation gunmaker a place to go to work. What happened in Ilion is not a story about guns. It is a story about what a financial instrument looks like when it's applied to a living community. Cerberus Capital Management did not buy Remington because it believed in the product or the people or the 200-year history. It bought Remington because it could extract value from the company's credit and assets. And when the extraction was complete, when the debt was too heavy and the exit was impossible, the workers absorbed the cost. 2 bankruptcies, $1 billion in accumulated debt, a factory sold for $13 million, 545 layoffs without severance, and then a final 270 on the way out the door. The rifles are still out there. The name is still on them. The address is still there in the stamp, Ilion, New York, as if the place still means what it used to. The people who built them know it doesn't.